Hello and welcome to the ID Talk podcast. My name is Tony Bitsionis, and I'm here as always with my co-host and good friend, Mr. Alex Perala. Alex, hello.
Hello.
Uh, Today we have an exciting episode. We're joined by Robert Boris Mofrad, who's the co-founder and chief product officer at Serenity. Very excited to have you on the show. Welcome. And I guess just to get us started, would you just give us a rundown? You've got like a pretty interesting background. Tell us about yourself and then tell us a little bit about what you do at Serenity.
First of all, hi guys. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure being here. To give you a very quick background of myself, I've been involved in technology since the years 2000, in hardware and manufacturing, mobile phones, and I got also very much interested into the software aspect of things. I was involved in the year 2010 on the first dual SIM, dual active PCBA, when on a mobile phone you could have two SIMs calling one another instead of just receiving calls. So pretty much in tech, pretty much tech savvy, curious about things. I started to look into the blockchain back in 2016. I was initially thinking this is all a very shady, scammy sort of industry. Then I read uh, Bitcoin white paper and I got some sort of enlightenment. I I got overwhelmed by the level of technology, message, and depth into what blockchain is. And I started to dig. I got interested. I opened my first wallet, I think was 2017, purchased my first tokens. I accumulated quite a lot of tokens and wealth. I was lucky enough to buy, for example, Solana at $1, based on the technology aspect of it, not because it was funny or something. I was always looking into fundamentals. And then I reached a level that in my family, my spouse, my wife started to say to me, hold on a minute. You have all these sort of digital assets. I don't understand anything about it. You claim that they're worth a lot of money, but what happens if something happened to you? Who can access to those
Right.
assets? And I started to think, I said, she's right. What would one do if you accumulate millions of dollars or whatever amount of money, and then you can't basically pass it on? There is no inheritance, there is no succession plan, there is nothing. So that's how we started to work on this plan and business and project of Serenity. And the name naturally came to me that, look, we need to provide peace to the investors and give certain level of confidence. And we worked on a project that was a protocol for inheritance, and we patented it. We patented the architecture at the US Patent Office. It is published now on Google. It's still pending, but we're on the last phase. And that is basically based on a situation that if anything happens to you, there is a security and verification protocol that triggers, and your tokens and your assets can be passed on to your nominees or heir. So
That's
this is how the whole thing started.
that's really cool. I mean, you described uh, something that I think is not too uncommon with, you said your wife and yourself just coming up with, oh, wait, what would happen if this happened? Except you had the experience and the knowledge to actually do something about it, which is not the case for most people. You're just like, oh, wait, I don't know the answer to that question. Maybe I should look into it. So I guess like your background working in mobile and tech that helped you take those first
Yes,
steps.
yes, indeed it did. I'm not an engineer, but I had enough network and connections to go to the right people and say, guys, I have an idea. Uh, the situation is that NFT has been misused. If you can upload a picture or any form of data into an NFT, that means you can also use an NFT as a digital representation of yourself and upload biometric into an NFT, sensitive information into an NFT, and pass it on,
Mhm.
right? So this is how it all started.
So does the platform actually then encode biometric information into an NFT? Is that part of what Serenity does now?
No.
Okay.
So you see, technology evolve,
Mhm.
right? We're in a constant evolution. It's never, as people have tendency to say, a revolutionary idea or tech. No, we keep evolving. Serenity 3 years ago is not Serenity today.
Mhm.
Why? Because as things evolve, people start to connect, understand one another, technology, solutions. Integration is the key. When you make a mobile, you have 200 different vendors into the device. Apple do not make from A to Z the mobile,
Mhm.
right? Nor Samsung make from A to Z the mobile. This is
Mhm.
the same when you come up with the technology. So what we've done, we collaborated with large companies, one of them being Idemia. It's the number one biometric digital identity company in the world. All the e-gates, passports, biometric, facial recognition are done by Idemia. We did not have a biometric solution. We needed a recognized, reputable partners with credential history. So we went to Idemia, we presented the project. They were very interested. So we acquired or we started to collaborate with Idemia to have a biometric card. On the biometric card, we uploaded our technology that links your biometric on chain. What does your biometric do? Your biometric is not shared or uploaded anywhere. It's on the card, but it creates an NFT, which is your visual representation. And that NFT can basically be your signature, validation, anything that you do on chain, your identification, anything, because it's also approved and validated through biometrics. So you have two layers.
Mhm.
And you can do the same process with your siblings, kids, wife, family, upload their NFT into the card on chain. So if anything happens to you, their biometric through a visual representation trigger and access your data.
Cool. So, and I'm just curious that like, is it anonymized as well? So, or are you actually like sharing your any personal information, or is it all just completely anonymized?
No, it cannot be anonymized because if you're anonymous, how can we know who your hairs are just by through biometric? It's not possible. They need to be a level of regulatory compliance. Secrecy and privacy are two different things.
Mhm.
We are into privacy, we're not into secrecy, right?
Mhm.
Secrecy means you do have an information and you willingly conceal it for no one to have access to it. Privacy is that you put it somewhere, it's private to you and the circle you decide to share it with, but people have to know who you are because otherwise it opens door to parallel business and bad actors and stuff like this. So we draw a line between privacy and secrecy. So there is a minimum level of information, name, of course, passport number or social security number, and emails. But that is mandatory. Why? Because if one day authorities come and tap at our door, we don't know what you hold as a data, but you know who you are,
Mm,
right?
right.
So we don't have access to your data. We don't know absolutely what is uploaded on your under your biometric and NFT, what you have uploaded into your S box, giving access through your S access card, but we know who you are. That's the minimum.
And the card is, and we were looking at your news here. It's this is the crypto cold wallet. Is that
Yes,
okay?
it has a crypto cold wallet, of course, which allows you to have a succession plan and recursive succession. But it also, the same card, we are launching the pro version, which would allow companies, corporates, institutional, governmental entity to log into their system by bypassing 2FA. We know that 80 to 90% of vulnerabilities in systems, corporate system, happens through 2FA login.
Mm,
So by tapping the card on your mobile, you would be able to open information on your computer without logging in, without entering any password.
okay.
That itself, as we say, is revolutionary, but it's a very simple process because it does exist. We're just, you know, telling people 2FA is a 15 years old, 20 years old architecture and technology. And you can have a 3FA, 4FA, 5FA. The mechanism stays the same. What you need to do is to take it out of the PC and bring something new that is known and used and relatable to the general public, which is biometric.
Right. This all makes sense to us, and like the reason we're talking is, our audience is very interested in identity technology and biometrics. We don't know a ton about crypto stuff, to be perfectly honest, so bear with us. But we're genuinely interested, and these things are intersecting more and more. So it's these are fun conversations for us to have. So this is probably kind of a stupid question, but for just to humor me, are what is a cold wallet? I see this term all the time. I understand it's a wallet that stores crypto, but why is it called a cold wallet?
A cold wallet is a wallet that is not online and it's offline. So
Okay.
basically, it's not sitting on your browsers. You can access it from an external identification. Okay.
Mm,
And so basically, the degree of getting hacked are minimized because if sitting on your browser, on your device, whoever enters can then access your sensitive information within that environment, hardware, software environment, and start to move your digital assets. A cold wallet do not allow this, do not permit an intrusion without an external identification or validation.
right. So it's almost like a physical hard drive, like maybe an
Yes.
analog. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why we Ledger or other players into the field or ourselves, we have this hardware device, which is a biometric card. Without this, you can't access your digital assets or any data, as a matter of fact.
Right. And is there a particular reason that you gravitated to Idemia and fingerprint recognition in particular? Like, did you think about other modalities, or is this like it's the most commonly used, or what was the thinking there?
It's the most commonly relatable. It's the one that there are 6 billion mobile used in the world,
Mhm.
whereas there is 3 billion PCs, right? Every mobile users nowadays, or every mobile has a biometric uh, option, right? Unless you're using a mobile of 6, 7 years ago, which I doubt. So it's quite known and quite trusted technology. And
Mhm.
as I said, we are going into the evolution of things. We're putting things together that people relate to and know. Then Idemia was the perfect choice. They're selling hundreds of millions, if not billions of cards, no hacks, security system is optimum. They are recognized by Homeland Security as the best biometric solution. They are into every passport, every e-gates, every airport in the world. So we thought, like, instead of reinventing the wheel, we collaborate with them. Biometric is known, and we put blockchain connected to biometric.
You go ahead, Tony.
Yeah, I just wanted to get your take on any issues with compliance that you might come across. Is that a challenge? I mean, you talked about your partnership with Idemia. Did you guys face compliance related issues? What do you feel about the balance between like decentralization and compliance across the board?
Well, compliance issues depend also on the product you offer and the system you offer. For example, a cold wallet that we do have into the blockchain do not allow you to transact. That means exchange tokens. You can only receive and send. So there is no transactional element. Hence, you don't need to be compliant with anything. Same, for example, I'm giving you a basic example. When our application went live on Apple, if we had a transactional element on the app, it would have been a different compliance team and different policies, right? That's first. Second, we as a company are just giving a tool, a bridge for people to have a self-custodial option and be self-sovereign or be the ultimate authorities of their own data. We don't we don't store anything for them. We're just giving them a tool for them to store things, right?
Mhm.
It's again different. Compliance again act differently here, right? So if, as I mentioned earlier, if tomorrow anyone asks us who stores what, we can say we know XYZ are on our portal, but we have no idea what they store because we don't involve into that, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So GDPR and all those compliances kind of do not apply to us because we don't use data, we don't hold data, and we don't advertise data simply
Right.
because we don't hold data.
Right.
Yeah, you're providing the tool to handle the data, not any kind of like service to deal with it. Something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Good.
Yes, yes,
So,
exactly.
okay, back to blockchain. Like you were very early to blockchain. We're seeing this a lot across our industry, digital identity. A lot of stuff is moving to blockchain systems. So I'm just curious, like just generally speaking, at the big picture, do you see it playing more of a role in, let's say, like government systems or banking or just like do you think it's going to go more mainstream?
Yes, it will go for few reasons. You see, if you deal with blockchain as a technology, it will go very far because the level of transparency in blockchain is unmatched.
Mhm.
People think opposites because you have a wallet with number, but every single transaction to the cent is traceable even 13 years ago.
Mhm.
Would you be able today to tell me when in 2008 or 2010 you spent $1.50 and where? No, right? No way. Even by looking at your bank statement or credit card, you won't be able to because probably you spend some cash somewhere for $1, for $1. So this is traceable. It's, you see, and the blockchain is tamper proof. A smart contract, when it's issued, you can't play with it. You can't manipulate it. There is a timestamp. It's all there. And even 15 years down the line or the next 5 years, all the information remains. The integrity of blockchain is very strong. Things that we never faced in Web 2 or general normal technology, right? When things are, you can manipulate everything, even a basic document.
Hmm.
People Photoshop PDF, right?
Mhm.
Here, your identification is on NFT. You can't basically manipulate the NFT. It's tamper proof. It's the integrity is there. It's in terms of time. It's basically permanent. It's it's there forever, right? So uh, blockchain is the next phase to allow quantum computing, AI to develop. The scalability for AI is in the blockchain. How you can today go from a million gigabytes to 10 million gigabytes if you don't have the right infrastructure. You can't. You need
Hmm.
you need the land, you need to build, you need to invest. On chain, the scalability is a click of a button through node validation system, through different technology. You can scale from 1 million gigabyte to 10 billion gigabytes, right?
Yeah.
So how you can compete this? And the security is stronger because everything on chain by design is uh, as basically encryption.
Mhm.
Everything is encrypted, right? So things that you don't have in Web 2, you need to buy a cyber security system. You need to pay for a firewall. All these are included on chain. So definitely blockchain in future will take over. But once the narrative becomes technology and not crypto gambling,
Yeah.
Right.
Do you think
Yeah.
that's the like major obstacle right now is just the perception?
it's the perception, is the lack of understanding, is the overcomplicated jargon, is the lack of trust. It's actually succession. There is no succession. Who the hell will invest money or put asset on chain if
Yeah.
it cannot survive, right?
Yeah.
So those are the problems that this young industry is resolving and evolving, and also collaboration. At the beginning of the blockchain, people were on their own. It was a paper project. They were announcing they will change the world, not collaborating, not sharing ideas. Yes, they say and they claim everything is open source, but open source is also a open gate to hell,
Uh-huh.
right? Because not everyone is a good actor, right? Not everyone has a good conduct. So things start to make shape now. People start to understand the limitations and behave in a different way, in line with technology and not cryptography or crypto assets.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point that you made earlier because I know that for the average person, well, I mean, I don't know this, but I assume for the average person, just the term NFT conjures up an image of like Jimmy Fallon losing millions of dollars or Justin Bieber losing millions of dollars. Like it's funny. But the like depth behind the technology and the use cases for it don't really kind of come to mind for most people. I have a very good friend who's a in the blockchain. He's an engineer. He's very smart. Hello, Andrew, if you're listening. And he often talks to me about some of the more nuanced uh, applications and goes into more depth than I'm really capable of understanding. But listening to you talk about it it's helping catch me up, I feel. And so I wanted to ask you, and you might have already answered this, but going forward, do you think the greatest threat to blockchain is in the AI or quantum computing sort of space? Or do you think that you're positioned to kind of adapt to that and just yeah, go
No,
ahead.
no. As I said, you have to evolve in technology. If you don't evolve, you die. Take the example. I was in mobile business, so I can give you that business that example. Nokia. They were the number one by far in the whole world.
Mhm.
And then BlackBerry came. They were supra dominant. And then one fine morning, Apple and Steve Jobs introduced a touch screen where Nokia made fun of. They said, "What is this? Nobody will buy it." And then what happens? The whole world changed.
Mhm.
So if back then those big companies had a vision to adapt and evolve, probably they would be bigger today, right? So the same applies. Blockchain, we are at a very infant stage. Nothing has been developed. No one actually using a blockchain product. We're probably one of the few to have a Web 2, Web 3 product that is available and people can buy it and use it, and they will not know that the underlying technology is a blockchain technology, right? But blockchain will evolve and help, as I said, AI, help quantum computing. We have list of patents you can check on our website with our head of architecture. He owns a patent which is post quantum encryption hybrid solution. So we have already anticipated those, because a lot of question comes to say, if quantum computing comes, what's going to happen to Bitcoin? People can break in the system, and then the mining will disappear, and people will can access Bitcoin. And no, things will adapt. It's not like that. But as I said, because there is a level of uncertainties and lack of knowledge and mistrust in blockchain, people think it's just a little journey within some financial opportunity for people to make money and move on.
Mhm.
No, the whole infrastructure of countries will change with the blockchain, because it has a lot to offer. And we are really at the beginning. The same way that at the time we had this Amstrad with the tape, people were uploading, and you had to wait for things to, or floppy disk for to watch a game that was sort of a Tetris or racket with a,
Yeah.
it was taking 5 minutes to upload, and look where we are today, right?
Yeah.
It's a Web 2. This is all Web 2. So Web 3 has not even reached the level of mass adoption yet. Once it will, you as a mobile user will become a node validator. You will make money by validating transaction on chain and generate money. With the 5G, emergence of 5G, 6 billion mobile users will become node validators. That means if each mobile has an average of 100 gigabytes times 6 billion, the level of storage you will get is insane. This is where you will go to quantum computing.
We're gonna be rich, Tony.
Yeah, I knew it. About time.
That's well, like we're seriously at risk of getting in over our heads here. So this is a great note to end on, Boris, and really interesting. So thank you for joining us. This was a great conversation, and actually, probably we should do another call sometime just to kind of go
With
further
pleasure.
down the
I hope
road.
it was.
Yeah.
I hope it wasn't overcomplicated. I tried to stay simple. I'm not an engineer, so I don't use engineer jargons,
Yeah.
but I tried to give you the vision and the direction of where things are going.
Yeah. No, absolutely. We'd love to continue our education. We aren't joking. We really do want to be very rich.
Yeah, but thanks so much, Boris. This was great.
Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you. It
All
was a
right.
pleasure discussing with you and sharing some ideas.